welcome back to the Luke and Lewis show. We're joined by a very special guest, Darren Levy. Welcome to Luke and Lewis, mate.
G'day. Thanks for having me.
It's an
No
absolute...
worries. You might remember Darren from the live stream.
If you were
Well,
up
you
at
fell asleep
5
on me.
a.m. I was
I
going to
don't
say,
remember
Lewis
it at
won't
all.
remember it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So the first time
that
Lewis
was-
appeared on our show... the first time Darren appeared on our show, Lewis was unconscious. So it's great to have a conscious Lewis this time with us and a conscious Darren. But Darren was perfectly fine the first time. It's just Lewis letting down
I
the
was
team.
really, really trying to stay awake there. But Darren, I feel like, has such a relaxed vibe that you were making it worse. I was like, oh, I feel comfortable with Darren. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, you were awake when we started, but then you just slowly, gradually fell asleep. I understand. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I guess you give off the vibe where, like, I don't necessarily want to sleep with you, but I would love to sleep around you.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Could you go back to being unconscious?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The conversation was great last time. No one even hit on anyone. It was awesome.
Yeah, well,
you.
look.
Now, if you don't know who Darren is, find that hard to believe. It means you are not on the YouTubes or the TikToks. But Darren Levy is massive on YouTube. You're almost hit a mil, if I'm correct. 800K, 900K?
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't
That
done my
is
research,
crazy.
but the last time I checked, I was like, God damn. For an Australian YouTuber, that's huge.
Thanks, man.
And
yeah, it's exciting.
TikTok is not too far behind. You're almost heading on your way to a mil there
Man,
as well.
you're smashing... You must be one of the biggest Australians on the fucking platform there. You're smashing all of us.
TikTok is a weird place, hey? And what's weird about TikTok is like there's not much of a crossover with TikTok and YouTube.
I
It's
know.
mainly just
Yes.
12-year-olds, but it's
It feels weird.
wild.
Like I feel like I've gained an entire new fan base, and they are none of them, or maybe like 8% of them, are not aware that I am a comedian. Even though I
Right,
post stand up,
yeah.
they go, "Oh, I love your TikToks."
Yeah, it's weird. It's
Yeah,
just a weird
sometimes like
place.
Luke and I have obviously we've posted videos on TikTok where we're in the same video, and so often both of us get comments of like, "Oh my god, my two favorite TikTokers are finally working together." They're literally like a whole new
Yeah.
people.
I was talking about this on my podcast. I was talking about the video that I put up of us two, Darren, and a few people saying, "Oh, this is like one TikToker having an awkward conversation with another TikToker," and I was like, "Well, that's exactly what it is." But it was just so weird. I was such a backhanded compliment because I was like, "Oh, I'm glad that they enjoyed the video." They're like, "Oh, I love this. My two favorite TikTokers," and I was like, "But it's also a slap in the fucking ego getting called a TikToker."
Keeps you honest though.
It does.
Like you it's like you're starting again. You gotta work
Yeah.
for it.
Have you been getting recognized in the street from it?
I haven't really left the house in 4 months,
Okay,
but
yeah.
beforehand, like it was starting, but I guess it's still mainly like YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Like TikTok. I think they're too young to be out without their parents.
Too young
sort
to
of
be
thing.
approaching adult males. Like
Yeah.
if a 12-year-old comes up to me like, "Lewis Spears," I'm kind of like, "Oh, I don't know you. Hey everyone, I don't know who this is."
That's a good call, I think. It's always good to...
I think that's play it safely. That's good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. You just like want to look at the child, point at it, and be like, "It's not mine. I don't know him."
Nothing good than outing yourself as not a pedophile, which is great.
Mate, in the YouTube
make it
space,
very clear.
it seems like you have to do that now.
Just make it super clear. Yep. Especially if you got a squeaky clean image.
So you started off just filming.
Darren subtly implying there that Lewis could be a pedophile if he wanted to be. It's like, well, I've seen your content, mate.
Hey, look, man, anyone could be one if they wanted to be. Children are very weak.
Okay, and that's the kind of comments as to why we think you might. And
Look.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he announces he's not. Yeah.
I'm not. I've never met Epstein. I don't know who he is, okay?
Yeah. You've only been on his plane like 26 times. It's fine.
What? 24 times.
Now, speaking of people with a squeaky clean image, Darren, and every time he comes near our show, I can see him getting nervous, but he's too nice to turn
Nervous
us down.
laughter. Yes, this is nervous laughter.
Even when he was on the live stream, I saw him, I could see in his eyes, he's like, that's all right, only 600 people are watching.
I know. I remember when you and I first met was when we were doing a collab, because you do funny Uber rides. So I was like one of the people, and we met, and I remember thinking, oh, he's really clean, I'll make sure not to swear. And then you said, no, go for it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go for it a little bit. I went hard. And I felt like you were shocked the entire car ride. I think I was saying that you should get into a car accident for views.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Yeah, but in fairness, you were right. Like that video would do very well.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It would. Like, I was saying that, like, I think I was saying that I don't want you to get into a car accident. And if you do, obviously I want everyone to be okay. But if you were to get into a car accident, like 100 videos into, like, your Uber driving, that video would go so crazy on all your socials.
It would pay for the excess plus triple.
I think it's worth driving
right.
with your eyes closed just for a little bit.
With the right type of passenger.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
If you have like someone who's just handles it really poorly, it won't be good.
Yeah, you don't want a Karen. You don't want someone who's going to report you. You want somebody who's going to feel bad for you.
Yeah.
So,
Look, I don't
they'll still
think getting angry that your Uber driver has been involved with a car accident is a Karen situation. I would say that's quite reasonable. If I was in an Uber and my guy was like, do you mind if I rear-end this truck? I'm actually filming a YouTube video. If I go, oh, no, thanks, I don't think that makes me a Karen.
I would say yes, because I'd be like, can I be in it? Can you tag me? You know? Like,
Yeah, as long as I get tagged.
I'd be stoked
exposure,
about
yeah.
that. But I think I'm in a pretty niche category of people also chasing views.
Yeah.
Now, Darren, have you, obviously since the pandemic, have you stopped Uber driving? So, for the meantime.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, so I haven't driven in like, 4.5 months now.
So are you slowly
like-
running out of the back catalogue?
I'm out of fresh content.
Wow.
I'm completely out of fresh content. So like I'm not posting funny Uber rides. I scrape the bottom of the barrel and I can like scrape together some deleted scenes videos every now and then sort of thing. But like now I've started going on Omegle on the weekends
I saw.
and meeting some
you're
weird
doing
people
it
there.
well. Like a lot of people who have channels where like their whole channel is like, I do this thing. A lot of them like fail to adapt to this. If it's a public thing or whatever, like I would say most people just die during times like this.
Like
if they
prank
can't do the
channels
thing.
right now would just be tanking.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
no
social
shit.
interaction stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, prank
Yeah.
channels or I remember when like gun channels, YouTube cracked down on just gun enthusiasts and then like thousands of people just lost their whole career trying to go from talking about guns to like, I'm a vlogger now. But you've done it really, really well.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's weird. I don't know, like I know you've obviously been on Omegle or chat roulette like back in the day sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is such a like fucked up concept of you've got naked people and 12-year-olds on the same website.
And it's exclusively those two demographics. It's nowhere in
that's all it
between.
is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It is a weird, wild place, but somehow you can get a bit
yeah.
of content out of there.
Lewis and I filmed one for the Luke and Lewis channel, but we filmed it completely out of focus. We may upload it on Patreon if it can be bothered to edit it. But
It's terrible.
We fucked it up.
I would love to see
But
that.
we have filmed one, and I
Well, you
filmed
won't be seeing it because it's so out of focus.
Yeah,
You're just seeing pixels moving around. You can listen to it.
we might be able to somehow salvage some of the actual screen record on the Omegle
Yeah.
screen. I think we might be able to use the webcam footage. But yeah, we filmed one, and I filmed a couple for my channel, and I've watched yours. You are so much nicer to people. Like, you are like, I just get on there, and I'm just like, what's your deal? You know, I'm not even an asshole. I just try and be funny, but you're like really nice to people.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you see. I mean, like in fairness, I'm on there for like 10 hours straight.
But I cut
and then
out
I
the
get,
nice
like,
bits. Thing is, you don't see me being really polite to people. I go, that's boring, and I just cut 5 minutes together of me being a piece of shit, and then upload that.
That's right. Pleasant conversation. Who the fuck wants to watch that? Obviously, many more people than us.
Yeah, clearly hundreds of thousands more than watch my videos. But yeah, it's cool. I saw you had like a 13-year-old communist kid on.
This communist kid is wild. Like he should, like, I reckon he should do stand up. He's so funny. But the thing is, he's 13 years old, and like I have to keep his face blurred, which kind of sucks because he's also very expressive. But yeah, you don't know. I guess you don't know who you're going to bump into, and you can turn into a character.
Yeah,
It's almost like prank calls during this quarantine thing, but because you can't, like, doing prank calls would be very questionable now. Like, hey, you a struggling business? I'm going to waste your time. But you can do it on Omegle because no one on Omegle is making any kind of money.
It's so crazy though that they have like 50,000 people on at any given time on Omegle.
It is nuts.
Like, who's?
You know what the most confusing part about, is it Omegle or Omegle? I don't even know how to say it. Omegle?
Omegle.
Okay.
Omegle.
The most
I say
confusing,
Omegle.
I've been saying Omegle in all my videos and no one's pulled me up on it, but I think it is Omegle. You are correct. I think it actually says how to pronounce it on the website,
Probably.
on the homepage.
I mean, I'm gonna have a look now.
It does. It actually says that. Anyway, I forgot my point. Hey guys, never mind. Don't worry about it.
Oh, well, that's right. Hey,
Oh, no.
Well, that's the end.
I remembered it.
Thanks for having me.
I want to know is like, obviously you see a lot of dicks on the website. It's a well-known thing. What I've never seen is I've never bumped into any girls on the platform who are out there looking.
And therein lies
I've never
the
seen any
problem.
willing participants of like that kind of exchange.
Yeah, I was talking about this on my podcast. I was like, why would anyone go on there? No girls are there looking, but when guys see you, they skip you, so they must be looking for girls. I think that the whole website, all the dudes with their dicks out, are just trying to show people who don't want to see their dicks, and that's the point.
Yeah, actually, you know, I agree. I think it's like a form of exhibitionism.
I think it's virtual flashing.
Yeah. In a place where it's almost expected. But then it begs the question: who are the people that go on pretending like they just want a conversation, but are actually looking for dicks?
They're the
Yeah.
they're the
I mean,
normal
YouTubers.
people.
YouTubers are genuinely going on there for a bit of both, actually. It's like, well, if I get a dick, it's, I'll blur it, but it might be funny. But if I get a good conversation, also great for the channel.
I remember
You're not wrong.
we sent the Omegle footage off to someone to edit it, and they go, okay, obviously blur it, and then they send back like this cock made up of a bunch of squares, and we're like, no, you, like, remove the penis, don't obscure it, make it look like a Minecraft dick. That's not on. Then now it just looks like Japanese porn.
Yeah.
And YouTube are cracking down on that. I just I posted a video the other day of, you know how there was that big black dude who was going viral at the beginning of lockdown. There was like a Shrek version of this dude. I just had like it flashed in a YouTube video, and I got a warning from YouTube because of it.
Did you
like you can't have it's censored.
No, but did you do it from waist up?
No.
Oh, okay. So you
I would say that's fair enough,
so
to
you
be
put
honest.
you put a Shrek dong in your video, a shrong.
You know, now that I think about it, yeah, that was very wrong.
And that's coming from me. I put some questionable stuff on the website, but not even I would go, yeah, look, I'll put Shrek's cock on there.
I take back what I said
censored.
before about the
It's
squeaky
funny.
clean image. I'm not uploading Shrek's dick to my channel.
What are you doing with my dong?
All right. So, one thing I wanted to know, Darren, is because you are obviously well known on YouTube, and I guess generally is there like an Uber community? Are you like the king of the Uber drivers now?
Uber drivers hate me.
Why?
Really?
They don't. Uber drivers don't like me. Well, for the most part, because it could be argued that I encourage like anything goes in the Uber. Whereas a lot of drivers wouldn't love that.
Oh, they
because
think
just
like
wanna take it from A to
professionalism
B.
is important to their job.
Yeah, well, they just
should
don't want
film
any
it.
mess
Strange.
and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
they
well,
should film
you
it.
know what the problem is, Darren? The issue is a lot of people maybe watching your videos don't know that you want a good video, right? All they see is the camera. Now, the issue with that is if they see you with a camera making videos and encouraging fun behavior, most Ubers you get into now have cameras. So every time I step into an Uber now and I see a guy with a camera that's just there for his own safety, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm on YouTube. Time to get my
you
tits
gotta be
out.
on. Yeah, exactly. You gotta be on.
And also, is it because you're like double monetizing Uber as well? Like you're getting paid for the trips, and
You got to be the highest earner.
You'd be easily the highest paid Uber driver in the country.
Considerably more than the $9 an hour from Uber for sure.
Is it only $9 an hour?
After expenses, come on, you're
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
petrol and
yeah.
car maintenance
Why would
it doesn't
anyone
seem
be an
like
Uber
that,
driver?
but yeah.
because they can't get other jobs. That's the gig economy. Why would anyone be an Uber Eats driver? Because they can't get an Uber driver job.
And it was always marketed as a good like supplement to your income. They
Yeah,
never
never was a
marketed
full-time
as
thing.
as yeah.
And what about taxi drivers? They would hate you as well because they make Uber. You make Ubers look cool.
A lot more people hate me than I realized. I didn't think we would be talking about this today, but shit, everybody hates me.
No,
Yeah, well, that brings us to our
It's
next
not a huge
topic.
loss. The taxi demographic,
Luke and I.
they're dying. Yeah, I just got my taxi license
is-
today.
Yeah.
I'm actually driving with Lyft, and I fucking hate your guts.
We all know that's a lie. Lewis is not driving. Doesn't have his
Got no
license.
license.
Don't
I
think
do
Darren
Uber
knew
Eats.
That's
that.
your license.
Yeah.
You don't have your license.
26 years old, no license. I do Uber Eats by jogging.
He also has asthma,
Is it-
so that was another joke, guys. He can't jog.
Another big lie. I can't be trusted on anything.
Damn.
What would be your preferred method of rideshare or Uber delivery if you were to have to do it? You'd have to walk it.
Yeah, it'd have to be. I could do a bicycle.
You would
Always
get
people
puffed out.
lie that they're on a bicycle. I would. You know why? Do you want to know why I really agreed to do the video with you, Darren? It was.
Go ahead.
I'll be honest. It was partly because Luke said he had fun doing it. It was like 70% because I just wanted to lift home. That's why I got you to pick me up from the city when I had something else on. Because I was like,
I respect
he'll
that.
just give me a lift home.
I respect that so much. That actually makes it so much better.
See, I went
Yeah,
out
that's
of my
hustle.
way.
well,
I think I
you
got
did.
you to
You
meet me
did.
at a station, right? I parked at the station, then you gave me a lift into my gig, and then I had to catch the train home to do your video.
Yeah, I
true.
think from memory, I might even have postponed Darren a week because I was like, I could do it this week, and then I said, no, let's do it next week because I just wanted to lift home.
You know what? That's resourceful as fuck. I respect that. That's good.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's one girl. What's her name? You always get her in your videos. I've gone blank. She's so funny. She's like
Steph
a
and
regular.
Phoebe?
Steph.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you get regulars? Is this just a girl who you know, or do you know her from Ubering?
From Ubering. That's kind of one of the cool things. Like I've made friends from being an Uber driver.
Yeah.
It's weird, but yeah. So like there are a couple of groups of people. Steph's one of them where they love being in the videos and they. get
So
around it.
how
So
does
when
that
they're-
work? Do they when you get them? So you get on with someone and they make great video content and they're keen to be in another one. For the second trip, are you just dropping them somewhere or are you charging them on the Uber app? How does the second one work?
No. They're absolutely not paying, but they just message me like if they're out and they need a lift home sort of thing. So I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm out. I'll come get you for sure.
That's
so
awesome.
funny.
Well, I'm gonna let you know next time I'm fucked up in the city, and
Do it. Seriously, do it. Like, honestly, yeah, seriously. And Lewis, look, you ever need a ride? Come on. Like,
I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'll keep it in mind.
it's a win-win. We get a free lift. You get some content out of it. I can post it on
Jesus
my TikTok.
Christ. It's getting harder and harder to incentivize me getting my license when offers like this are flying around.
Now, I think one thing I wanted to know, but you can veto this question. You can pass it. All right. Happy to give you a pass. What's the craziest or the worst thing that's ever happened in an Uber that you haven't been able to post on your channel?
Oh, yes.
I mean, so I've like alluded to this in some videos, but I've never shown it. There's one in particular. I guess it's kind of like my go-to story. There was this dude. Actually, no. So I picked up 4 guys from a strip club, coked up out of their mind, and the guy sitting in the front was trying his hardest to make his mates in the back laugh, and like just
I feel like I've
super
seen
loud,
this.
like obnoxious. You might have heard. Actually, I might have mentioned this in the video with you.
Oh, I
might
feel
have
like
said
I've
it to
seen
you.
the video. Did you not post this?
Definitely.
I feel like
didn't
you
post
have
this.
a bunch
No.
of drunk guys in your Uber a lot trying to make their mates laugh.
I feel like every
in-
now
in-
and then a coked up guy would slip onto the channel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the premise is somewhat happened many
Yeah.
times, but the guy in the front is trying his hardest to make his mates laugh, and like yelling out the window kind of thing, which is like that's not the end of the world. I don't mind that. But then out of nowhere, I think I was like looking to the right, turning or something. I just look over and this dude sitting in the front. His pants are at his ankles, and he's trying to direct me to go left, go right with his dick. and I just, it was just so unexpected.
like it's
So
like it's an
unexpected.
aeroplane with like
Like
a.
fucking Star Wars.
It was a joystick situation. It was so unexpected.
Was it on the flop or was it hard?
No, on the flop.
Oh.
That's awesome.
I mean, but it was just it was so weird. Like it was actually one of those. To be honest, it was one of those instances where I actually did ask them to leave the car.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Which,
That's a get out.
by the way, I don't do that often. I reckon I've done that like maybe like 5 or 6 times in the last 3 years. But that was just, it was getting to a point I'm like, okay, this is a bit
Yeah,
intense.
I think that's a
If he starts
reasonable request.
masturbating while you're driving, that's enough.
I think it's worse than masturbating.
Yeah.
Funny dick stuff is like if you had just been a creep, you know what I mean? But like using your dick as a
Yeah.
joystick, champ, you're like it's not even a good bit, really. It's like a 6 out of 10 bit.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to my friends about it the next day, and it's like, I think I disagree with you, Luke. I actually think it is objectively kind of funny, but given the circumstance with an Uber driver or
I
a
think-
taxi driver, you can't do it.
I think
With
it's
your
funnier
friends,
if you're
that's-
hard.
If that's how you...
Because it resembles more of a joystick.
I think it's funnier if you're hard. Like, if you're really going to do it, you better nut up and do it.
It's more Star
Yeah.
Wars kind of like you'd feel cooler doing it like pew 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 pew, you know.
Yeah, fuck.
On the
That was-
flop
that
would
was
just be
weird.
sad.
Yeah, not to, that's definitely only to if you know everyone in the car, it's all good. It's not, you don't do it to a fucking
To a
stranger.
stranger.
Lewis.
Because you know, you were filming, you could have just like taken that straight to the cops.
Lewis, take it back. It's not all good, even if you know everyone in the car.
No,
For example,
look,
on
Depending
we
who you
toured in
know.
a motorhome for 3 weeks this year. I'm glad on the way
and
to
that's why I was
Bundaberg
fine when
one
Keelan
day.
got his dick out.
Yeah, I'm really glad you didn't just pull it out on the freeway. Just like
No,
oh,
look,
come on,
it's-
we all know each other. What's the problem?
Okay, all right. If you all know each other and you're from North Queensland, it's a great bit.
Okay, yeah, I'll second that. Townsville vibes, indeed. Yeah, okay, well that's
Yeah,
good.
nah. Yeah, that was a weird one. I had a guy try to light my hair on fire on one instance.
That sucks.
That was like
You told me
was
that one.
shortly. Yeah, okay. That was like shortly after I started driving, and that was a weird ass situation because these guys, I actually reckon these guys were quite young, and playing with a cigarette lighter, but they were like, I could barely understand what they were saying. They were just like rolling on whatever the hell they were on,
Yeah.
and this guy, he was just trying to get like a bit of my hair, and he did, and again pulled over. Sorry, dude, can't take you any further.
Yeah, that's
You
yeah. I
can't
think
light another human on fire and expect there not to be any
weird ass.
that's not
consequences.
good.
Even in my most messed up state on a night out, it wouldn't cross my mind. It was
Yeah,
just
that's
a weird fucking thing
That's
to
so
do.
crazy. What are these? When you
Yeah.
kick someone out, what do they do? Do they all? Surely, if the Uber driver pulls over and goes, "That's enough," surely you have to go. Well, fair enough. I did try and light you on fire.
Well, that's like, I mean, I'm like I'm very much like a de-escalation, not a confrontational person. So I hate the idea of like asking someone to leave the car, and I've always been nervous that they would get pissed off about it. But fortunately, they've always just gone, "All right, fine," and they get
Yeah.
out. Yeah, but
Yeah, because I think there'd be some situations that seem pretty scary. Like I saw one the other day on where you someone was passed out on the side of the road, and like you got out and like, "Hey mate, you're right. Like he was just drunk and laying there, and that could have turned aggressive. Like it was a stranger, you didn't know this guy. A lot of people would just keep driving.
It's happened to me. It happened to me before, and I like pulled over and I was like, "Hey, man," because there was just a guy lying on the side of the street, and just in a random place.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, are you alright? And then he like got up and walked away. I realized after posting that video, and there were a lot of comments of people saying you shouldn't do that because there's like, I think it's in Brazil or something, there are like instances where people get hijacked by that. So you get out of the car, see if the person's okay, somebody steals your car.
Fuck.
And I was like, fuck. I was like, Jesus Christ, okay.
You're like have
I
good
won't do
person
that
brain,
again.
which is you don't even consider that someone would do that. But,
That is such a
no,
thing.
that was-
Like
that
there's always like people that are really nice, good people, where they get scammed or tricked because they couldn't even comprehend of the idea of doing something bad.
Yeah.
very Australian
Yeah.
mindset. Like it shows that we live in a good country, that we don't think about potential hijackings.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very
Like in
true.
America, I definitely wouldn't. I'd be more resistant to help someone like that. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know what they have on them.
Or South Africa. I was born in South Africa. You'd never do that in South Africa. There was like almost definitely would be a scam, and you're gonna get hijacked.
Yeah, I mean, or just like someone's. Also, definitely like. Also, yeah, high chance that the person just is fucking blind in South Africa on the side of the road as well. There's like two possible options there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So we did get some questions from our listeners, who are obviously big fans. You know, you've been the most highly requested guest
Hello.
on our show.
I reckon it's because I'm a fan of you guys. I reckon there's a crossover of our audiences.
I
Yeah,
think so.
maybe.
It's pretty interesting. Like I was kind of surprised because we do such different things, but there seems to be quite a big crossover, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
look,
sure.
there's clearly some people who are just asking shit stuff here. I've just opened it up on Instagram. A few people are shipping you and Steph. Now, I'm assuming you get that a lot in the comments. Why aren't you dating? Could we get an exclusive? Will it ever be a thing with Steph?
It's very unlikely.
Okay. I feel like
I hate
TMZ
to be
then.
that guy. I hate to be that guy.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Great. Well, that's good. We'll post that as a clip and we'll put like a TMZ exclusive. Darren Levy speaks on his relationship with regular Uber driver Steph, and then we'll chuck that up on TikTok and probably no one will watch it, but that's all right. Someone said, why don't you get a real job? A bit of a cheap shot there. I think he has two jobs.
That's a double whammy. Some people would argue that he has two fake jobs.
Yeah, we also don't have real jobs, so I'm not sure why the guy's actually a fan of the show. He's sitting here listening
Three
to three
unemployed
guys
people, yeah.
who don't have real jobs. This is an actual question. So what a dumb dude! I swear to God. And about once a month, I fucking lose my shit at our audience.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it always builds up, and then you receive something so shit that you're like, it makes me explode. Jace just wrote Uber or taxi. What do you think, Jace?
That's
you
an
a
obvious
moron?
question.
God damn.
Luke, I've scrolled through the questions. They are all rubbish.
Yeah, that's why I just paused. That's why there was that
Has
lull
he done
there.
sex? How
Yep.
does he pee?
How does he
Who
pee?
are you?
Do you? How do you pee, Darren? It's just our
Usually
audience
standing
wants
up,
to
but on
know.
occasion I don't mind sitting down. Like, what's the problem? Yeah.
That's a scoop.
Man, I'm with you, Darren. I don't mind
Can I-
a sit-down wee.
You know what?
Not all the time, but I don't mind a sit-down wee. In the
Or in the
morning,
middle of
I
the
like a
night,
sit-down wee.
What are you trying to wake yourself up? Like, I think it's actually a practical thing. In fact, I would almost go as far to say there's people who don't sit down are a little bit weird, not taking advantage of the tools we have available to us. Legs.
Yeah,
It's more effort
we
to
do
me
have
sitting
legs.
down. I think it's more effort. Yeah, because you walk in this way and then you got to spin around and squat.
Turning around.
Like
is
I
that
just
true?
pull it out and I'm going. I'm already fucking off. I'm out of the gates and you're still sitting.
Well, look, with me, because I'm so tall, I think sitting down is almost easier than bending all the way down to lift the seat up. I think I bend down further to lift the seat up.
That
than
makes
I do
sense.
sit
That
down.
makes sense for you. I'm like half your height though, so it's not consistent for me. Unfortunately, I'm just lazy. I just sit.
Now, I'll be honest. I hate how much airtime this question got on the show.
I think
Yeah.
we've reached a nice place. I think this is good.
Well,
this is a
there was
scoop.
actually one legitimately good question and something I want to know as well.
no,
what
one
actually
out of thousands.
what actually got you to record your Uber
passing-
experiences?
Passenger
Why'd
gave
you
me
start
the
filming?
idea. I was having like good conversation with this woman, and she was like, "This is the type of thing I would watch on YouTube." And at first I was like, I don't think anybody would actually watch this. But then I went home and I had a look, and there was a guy in the States. Ryan is driving. I think he had like 50 or 60,000 subs, and I was like, wow, like there is an audience for it. Maybe I'll give it a go. And that's.
And you'd never done any type of YouTube or
No,
filming
man, like
stuff
I
before
don't know.
that?
I don't know what I was doing. My old videos, like the first couple of videos on the channel, are very, very basic, and yeah.
Oh, everyone's first videos are like you look at them now and you're like, whoa, why would anyone be a fan of this?
Exactly
This
right.
sucks.
But I mean, you go, all right, well, I'll upload like once a week for a long time and see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing it
just
for
over
now?
3 years.
Wow, you've gotten very big in 3 years. I mean, I think part of the appeal is the fact that it's real. All people really want
Yeah.
on YouTube is authenticity. And you're giving like everyone's been drunk in the back of an Uber on the night home. I watch your videos and I'm like, I've been that guy who's like leaning over the fucking shoulder and talking the Uber driver's ear off and stuff like
That's
that.
why it
And it's just
fascinates
funny.
me that TikTok has that there's an audience for it on TikTok, because those kids haven't been in Ubers. So
True.
But they're fascinated with like the idea of like, oh, like this
That
is
makes
what
it
adults
almost
do.
more makes it more special, because I remember like when I was like 14, 15 and I would see nightclub scenes on like
yeah.
Skins of SBS, I'd be like, man,
True.
nightclubs look amazing, I can't wait to do that. And you get there, it's so much worse than how it looks on TV and
Oh,
shit.
yeah. The
So
reality
what you're
is-
doing is you're gonna disappoint an entire generation.
You're
Darren.
so right, because then
Yeah.
you get in like 9 out of 10 Ubers and nothing happens. That's so true.
Yeah. Yes.
Most of the time, it's just you trying to digest a kebab while you talk to the guy about his music taste, and like, and then you're like at the end you give a polite thank you, and then
Yeah.
he calls it a day. It's actually never that entertaining.
Well, that's what I want from an Uber driver. I'll be honest, Darren. If in my personal life, you are my worst nightmare, Uber driver. The guy who wants to chat, has a good personality, and wants to get along with me. I don't even want
That was
eye
actually the
contact when I
first
get
thing
in
you
the
said to
Uber.
me. You were like, I don't want to be here.
I'm only here for the lift.
I really was. I was.
Yeah, Lewis has an Uber trick that we do
Yeah.
every time we're traveling together, and I think, do you do it when you're traveling alone?
Yeah, all the time when I'm alone. If you don't want to talk to the Uber driver, trying to not talk to them doesn't work. Saying, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you," you're an asshole. What you really want to do is, whenever they ask you any kind of question, you just respond with, "Oh, I'm just traveling for business," and that ends the conversation every single time. And they go, "Oh, what do you do?" And
Hang
you go,
on,
"Oh, I
hang
just
on.
travel."
Time
Yeah?
for a role play, boys. All right,
Okay.
Lewis, you've just hopped into the back seat because let's be honest, you're pretty antisocial. And
Yep.
Darren,
Back,
you are
backseat is like the biggest sign of like that's how you say I don't want a conversation without saying.
Agreed. Yep.
yeah, Darren, you're in the front, and you've gone. Lewis has opened the door and seen. And Darren, your objective is to get good content for your Uber channel, despite
All right,
how
all
much he's
So,
hating it.
G'day, man. How you going?
Let's do it.
Hey.
Fucking hell, Jesus Christ, Stoke.
Trust me, this is pretty accurate. He does this.
I want you all to know that I will not do anything. I'm not going to exaggerate this at all. This is my behavior in
Have
an
you,
Uber.
you had a good day, man?
Yeah.
What did you get up to?
Oh, just
Oh,
traveling
true. What
for
are you
business.
doing here for business?
Oh,
It's a pretty easy question to
No,
be
but
counted
I think
with,
what
isn't
you're
it?
doing that actually
yeah, but
makes a
that's-
lot of sense. Is you're pausing for like an extra second before you answer, and that makes it awkward. That's good.
the
That's
pause
good.
is so. The pause.
It
is
makes them
because-
less
yeah.
inclined to continue the conversation. Would you give up if you had a passenger like that? Would you
Yeah,
just
no,
drive them from A
I
to B?
would give up pretty quickly. I don't force it.
Yeah. You can't force it because then it's fake. Or you're just going to get a guy going, "Can you please leave me alone?" It's not
Yeah.
a good YouTube video.
See, I'm the opposite. I always sit in the front, and no matter who the person is, I don't even give a fuck if they speak English. I'll try and talk to
Yeah.
them. I'll just be like, "What's up? How have you been?" And usually it's like from the airport. They're like, "Where are you coming from?" I'm like, Melbourne. And then I try and go through the pleasantries as quick as possible to get to something
Yeah.
that will entertain me. So they go, "Weather in Melbourne's bad, blah, 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 Corona, cool."
Yeah.
All right, knock that out. And then we just go like, I'm like, "So, what are your thoughts on archery?" And then you just get a random's perspective on a completely random thing. You're like, "Huh, never thought about it that way before."
I'm very, very similar. You get through the small talk as quick as possible to get to the medium talk, and hopefully you can get to that large talk where they tell you about their divorce or some heck, like.
Oh, so good. I love it when you hear about a breakup, when they just start pouring their shit out onto a stranger. And I'm usually pretty drunk, so I'm like, "Bro, I feel that, man," but I don't. I've never been through a bad breakup. Like, it's
You don't need it, man. You're
become,
better than
like
her.
as an Uber driver, you just become a therapist, which is another thing that everybody thinks an Uber driver is. Like the
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, one time with the boys, like, we're all in an Uber together and we became the therapist, and this poor guy was just pouring his soul out, and all my mates are pissed as they're like, "You don't need her, mate. Like, what are you doing?" Like, and we made him like a Tinder profile in the back
Yeah.
seat. Like, it was like, we were like giving him like lines and
Yeah.
shit. We were prepping him up, and afterwards he was like, "Guys, I really needed this. Thanks so much. I had such a great time."
that's awesome.
That's great.
Because, like, we live a while away from the city, so it's like a 40-minute
That's
trip.
so cool. I love that.
That's so
Love
funny. How does Uber feel about you? Because I would, if I was your size, I would be worried about like, oh, maybe Uber doesn't want this to represent, because you're like a huge part of the Uber brand now. Like, people will think of Uber and you'll be in their minds
it's
too.
awkward, and for a little while, I didn't know how they felt about me, so I didn't. So that's full disclosure. That is part of the reason why, like, I am a bit more like cleaner. Although there are conversations that happen in my car that are absolutely not PG. But like for me personally, like for what I can control, I'm for the most part cleaner around it because.
Well, because they could just boot you off the app, and then you can't do those real
True.
interactions.
So fortunate.
Funny DD rides.
Fortunate.
Huh? There's a market.
Fortunately.
That's a good
like,
brand deal,
full
bro.
disclosure, I do drive on some of the other platforms partly for that reason. But obviously I don't say that it's a DD ride. Like, people like think it's an Uber ride. It doesn't make any difference. It's commoditized,
It
right?
doesn't matter
But
what
like,
it is.
what is it? What's that saying? Like, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Uber are somewhat indifferent about me, which I don't know how I feel about it, but it also means that they don't give a shit about doing brand deals with me. So,
Man, that's what you want, I think. I think you want indifference, because if you start doing brand deals, they're going to feel ownership over you, and they're going to be like, "Hey, remember how we paid you all that money? If you
correct.
want more money, you
I
better
agree.
not do
I
this
agree.
in future."
And that's initially, I thought, well, it would make a lot of sense to become an extension of them, but I'm actually glad that it hasn't necessarily played out that way, because now it's just do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you are giving them
Man,
like
it's a
free
great deal
promo.
for them. Like, it really is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also you see people like get in your Uber and they know you from the videos. They're like, "Oh my god, I've been waiting to get in your Uber for ages." And like it I guess as a whole it's a positive thing. Like, because you do have a good brand and there's nothing ever like offensive or whatever, it's ultimately great for them. If I was the CEO of
Oh,
Uber,
for sure.
I'd just let it
I think
happen.
that I don't know here, but I think that's part of the reason why it hasn't been like an issue on their end. Because it's a great deal for them. A lot of people don't actually know my name. I'm the Uber driver. I'm the friendly Uber driver. That's great for them.
Yeah.
Were you
It
originally
is good.
funny Uber ads on YouTube? Then you
No,
changed
it's
it?
always been funny Uber. Right?
We've always been Darren.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
How
Has
many?
has your channel
Yeah,
always
the channel's
been
always
Darren?
been Darren Levy Official, but I always called it Funny Uber Ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Smart.
how many Uber rides does it take to get an average video? Like, how many hours of driving? Because obviously, I would say most people are going to be boring.
I worked this out of like it's very similar. I worked this out like a year ago. I think it was somewhere between like 10 and 15% of rides will turn into content, but then they also have to give permission for it, and and close to or around half of people don't want to be online, and you have to respect that. So
people freak out about
some
being
people,
on
yeah,
YouTube.
some people, yeah,
just with their jobs and stuff. Like they don't want to be depicted drunk. I get it. It's like, but it's like also.
Well, I mean, like I
employed,
can. I mean,
Probably.
beforehand, I was working in corporate sales, and I was like, I could see that had people in the, at work seen me on a channel like this, like drunk on the weekend sort of thing, that it wouldn't, although it would make no difference to my day to day and or anything. In fact, if anything, like the clients would like it more. I could see how people in the company wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened to me when I worked I worked at a bank at a call center. I pretty much got fired because of what I was doing online. But they made up some bullshit reasons that didn't make any sense. But it happened like a month after they found out that I was doing shit online. Because I worked at a bank with my girlfriend, and this is around the time that she and her got fake stories on like a current affair and stuff. So they were paranoid that it was some kind of inside job that we'd got an employee, because we got the job at the same job at the same time, and I think they thought we were doing some kind of inside job on the bank or whatever. And they eventually they had meetings about my channel, and I was like, I'm not taking down anything, and I'm here to make money. I'm not here to fuck you guys. But they eventually, like a month after that meeting, they were just like, I think after we had the meeting, they were like, write down every mistake he makes so we have a paper trail to fire.
Yeah, and like, as frustrating as that is, you also can kind of see where they're coming from. It's like they don't want any unnecessary risk, but I do think bigger picture, a lot of the time it doesn't necessarily matter to these companies.
I understand why they felt that way, but it also doesn't make sense, I guess. Like logically. Emotionally makes sense, maybe not logically.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that was what like Luke and I had to go through that like on radio, where we would do a prank call or whatever, and then it's like one thing to get a good prank, that's really hard, but then to get to prank someone and then get their permission, like it's less than half, because
we stopped
like
doing prank calls.
You can have we just stopped doing it.
It wasn't worth the
like,
time, because we'd try and do 10 before the show, and 3 are going to be good. 3 are going to go the way you want it to go. And then of the 3, all 3 would just say no.
I've never thought about it on that side of like
easier to say
prank
no.
call on a radio show. I would have just thought you posted, but fair enough. Of course you have to get permission.
No, because after all that shit
that's
that
how
happened,
they used to do it.
You know, with the royal family, they prank called the royal family, and then the one of the staff committed suicide because she got publicly humiliated. So there's all these new broadcasting rules get put back on like Australian radio after that.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. So now you have to get recorded permission for any prank call. So it's obviously easier for the person on the other end to just say no. There's no risk if they say no, but because often we're calling businesses, like we'd prank call the post office if we were waiting for something in the post office, and they used to hate us calling the post office. So Australia Post never said.
I remember that.
Then we used to reenact the phone calls of how it went afterwards. Like, but we'd like obviously exaggerate the
we
fuck
wouldn't
out
get
of it.
permission, so we would just reenact.
We'd be like, "Oh, I'm an old," we'd be like, "Oh, I'm old and I suck and I work at the post office." We used to really vent out our frustrations, but the content directors and stuff pretty much wouldn't let anything air that hadn't been.
Yeah, and that's soul crushing. Hey, like when you just know something people are gonna absolutely like love, but you can't post it, so you gotta. Yeah.
Pretty much the only prank call like to a business that we ever got on the show, and it was just the people had a great sense of humor, was that pizza shop one Lewis did.
Oh yeah.
He ordered a pizza with the lot and then slowly took off every single ingredient. So he was like, "Oh, actually no capsicum." And they're like, "Okay, no capsicum." He was like, "You know what? No mushroom." And then he kept on going down, and then Lewis was like, "Hang on, so
I got down to the base."
He took away the box.
That is so good.
I just kept going, and she was really Italian. She's like, "You don't want a tomato sauce on a base?"
Because
and
it got near the end, and he'd taken off all the toppings, right? And they're like, "Okay." And then Lewis got the guy, this old Italian man, to recite back. He goes, "So what's on the pizza at the moment?" And the guy goes, "So the base, the paste, and the cheese." And he even took off a ham, and the guy didn't even question it.
Brag.
And then Lewis takes off the cheese and the thingo, and then the guy was like, it was the first time the guy got suspicious. The guy was like, wait, so you just want the base? And then he realized it was a prank. He put on his like wife or the manager or something like that. And then because they were the pizza shop across the road, I think they had a good relationship with the radio station, because whenever they do an after work function, the radio station would order 20 pizzas to cater it. Yeah. So they were like, oh, like we're from the radio station across the road. They were like, very funny.
That's so cool.
They thought it was great. So they let that on, and we gave them a good ad. It was ultimately a great ad. We mentioned their pizza shop on radio. Everyone saw how much of a good sport they were, and it wasn't.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
when they like just straight up say, no, I don't want that online, or I don't want that on the radio or whatever, they just they don't weigh up the potential upside, or like, you know, I've had stuff with like content that I've gotten on Omegle, and then I ask for permission, and then people are like, you can put it up as long as you tag me and this. And there was a guy who was a musician. I actually had a look at his page the other day. It brought in like quite a bit of attention for him. So it can be a good move to say yes sometimes.
Man,
do you ask
speaking from
permission on
experience-
Omegle?
If I've had like a proper dialogue.
I asked him if I can, but like when they skip you and it's
Well,
really
if they
funny, I
skip
just
you,
put
like
it in.
you physically can't.
Yeah, but I always let them know I'm filming. Like if they go, "What are you doing tonight?" I go,
Yes.
I'm filming a YouTube video." Like I'm pretty transparent.
You
but
know what?
sometimes you don't get a
it's like
chance.
the thing that flashes on the screen and then it's gone and you don't get the opportunity.
I think it's a thing of like, you know, if you go on Omegle, you have to be aware that some people are screen recording. It's an
But
open
also, if
platform
you're on
internet.
like the YouTube or the TikTok tags, then a lot of the people on that
Exactly.
know that people are filming, but some don't, and you know, you might have to blur their face out or something down the line.
But that's why people
Yeah,
wear face
exactly.
masks and stuff on it.
I think
Because
most
they
people
know
know
people
now.
are filming it.
Yeah.
So what were you going
I
to
don't
say
know.
before?
Speaking from experience, I know that there is no such thing as bad press. So it all
Yeah.
works.
I will say this. Like, I mean, I've never been in a controversy. I don't know. It definitely intimidates the crap out of me. Like, it'll happen eventually.
Oh, it's
like,
scary.
There's no doubt.
The first time it happens, doing this, it just will happen. It seems inevitable. It seems more and more likely every day looking at online. But I don't know. The first time it happened to me, I'm not gonna lie, it's scary, and people are yelling at you, and you feel like you've done something wrong, even though most of the time you haven't. But ultimately, it just goes away because people get angry at something else in 2 days. Like 4 days, unless you've done like a real crime, is the longest that this shit lasts.
Good to know.
I don't
just
think
want you to be
Darren will
prepared,
have to
mate.
worry about
Hopefully
it.
not.
Unless like you had some politician and you didn't know. That's the only thing that could happen
Yeah.
to you. If you had someone important in your car that said something fucked, they were drunk, they gave permission, and you had no idea that they were a politician, and then it made
Yes.
the news. That's
That's
the
what
only
will
thing
happen.
that I could
I've
see
given a
happening.
lift to. Well,
But
I've
not your
given a
fault,
lift to what's that guy from Channel 10, Stephen Quartermain.
Oh, hang on. Should we do the segment? I think we
I
need to
think
do
we
the
should do the
segment
segment,
because
yeah.
I'm sure you'd have a few good. So we have a segment on the show called
yeah,
Celeb
okay.
Spots, right? And it's essentially just name dropping. It's time to flex. Audience, the listeners send them in, and we do have an opener. And I guess before I know you're about to say Stephen Quartermain, but pretend he didn't.
If you're seeing a person you know, and they're doing some really weird
It's
shit,
fan made.
you know the Luke and Lewis show.
Now get self-conscious.
Talk about it.
A little bit of a self-conscious end there.
Tasteful.
Celeb Spots intro, but yeah, continue. So who's the most famous
But the
person
thing
you've
is,
ever
I feel like
had in
that
the Uber?
intro really hyped this up, and it is not going to live up to that standard. No, it was Stephen Quarterman. I'm pretty sure. Is he the sports or the weather guy? No, he's a sports guy. He's
Lewis
I think
wouldn't
he's,
even know who
I don't
that
know if
is.
he's still on, but he was the sports guy.
He was he was like footy commentator on Channel 10 back in the day. Had a few.
Oh
like, hosts.
yeah.
Yeah, my one of my friends is friends with his son. That's
There
mainly
you go.
how I know him.
I mean, okay,
But,
he was. There wasn't any content worthy for like a video or anything, but he was just like he had a very good night after.
But definitely
For
worth us
sure.
smashing
Yeah, no,
the
for
intro.
sure. But he had a good night
Right.
after the races, picked him up, and I can't actually remember why I brought that up, but yeah, Stephen Quartermain, name drop, boom.
Is it no one else?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I've had Uber drivers name drop to me because when I like a couple
That
times
happens so often.
I usually tell them like, "Oh, I'm an archer." That's like my go-to. I always try and lie, and I know nothing about archery. The only thing I ever learned about archery is in Ubers. It's because it's my go-to. I always say I do archery, and then
Yeah.
the first time I said it, I knew nothing about it, and the guy was like, "What type?" And I didn't even know there were types of archery, and I just went,
Oh, the one with arrows.
I was like, "Oh, not the medieval kind, more like with targets." And I think he doubted if I did archery.
But
Yeah,
no,
I've.
you go. No, go on.
Oh yeah, continue.
No, I was
You
just
go.
going to say.
No,
I could,
you go.
I-
No,
I'll
you-
go.
I insist.
My favorite color is purple.
Yeah, okay, mine's red.
Red as
You
well.
go.
Snaps. No, I was literally just gonna say, you could see how like it would be pretty exciting to have a celebrity in your car if the majority of your conversations are like when Lewis is on business travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when there's people like me talking about archery, surely those are the ones that you remember, you know?
He's like, man, I thought I was in the car with Luke Hidgel, but it turns out it was some weird archer who knew nothing about his own job.
Well, on the few times where I've forgotten to say I'm an archer, or if like I'm obviously going to a show or something like that, like if I've put in there a address of a comedy club interstate,
Yeah.
like it's like from the hotel to the comedy lounge in Perth.
Yeah,
It's
pretty obvious.
like they go, oh, you're going. They automatically think you're going to see a show. You can lie and just say you're in the audience. But then
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, you know what? I just want to play.
I am the fucking
Yeah,
show.
and I'm like, I'm the act, bro. And then they always get so excited, and then they go, oh, so like, what's your audience? Then I start talking about YouTube, and then it's so funny that it's not impressive to me because they're all my friends, but I've had Uber drivers go, oh, well, you'll never guess who was in my car the other day. He goes, bloody Frenchie and Josh Wade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And I'm like, oh, cool. He goes, one time I picked up Shooter. And I was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And then and I had one guy once go, and you wouldn't guess it, big tall guy, Lewis Spears. And I was
Really?
like, and I went, no way. This was like years ago. I was like, no way. This is when we weren't doing the radio show, but I knew you from stand up. And I was like,
Yeah.
no way. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I'm actually a fan of that kind of YouTube scene. He's like, oh, I'll look you up. And I was like, he's going to go on my channel and see all them in my videos.
Yeah.
But it was really flexing on him. But then you get the Uber drivers occasionally that have legitimate celeb spots. And they're like,
Yeah.
I was Katy Perry's Uber driver when she was in Australia.
Yeah,
Like a private
would be
driver.
nice. I've done like 3,000. Yeah, no, as in
No, it wouldn't.
content.
Oh, yeah, true. For you. Yeah. But it wouldn't be nice
No,
actually
I
doing that,
agree.
I don't reckon.
I actually,
They'd be all like Lewis. Katie would be out traveling for business. And you can't ask what business because
Exactly.
you know what
Yeah.
business.
not fun.
Yeah.
Natural lull there.
Should we just?
Natural love.
I think we should embrace it.
Love it.
Now, do you have any content to bring to the show, Dan?
Jesus, holy shit!
Well, someone did actually ask on the Instagram.
You
kind
show
of-
up on a show, you bring nothing
Can't ask
to it.
that
What's
as we
going
hit a
on?
lull. That's
Someone-
like you hit that when we're on a high. Fuck. Okay. Well, someone asked. So,
Someone did ask, is there a story that you need an excuse to tell?
well, what does that even mean?
That's
That you
good.
need an excuse to tell. That you
Like, it's like usually like a name drop, like a story you want to tell, but you never have any good reason to bring it up.
had a girl spit on me once. But no.
In the bedroom?
No. Yeah, I should.
It sounds like more of a personal story, Darren.
No, as in like in an Uber. But that's more along the lines of things sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment?
Harassment of all
It's
types.
not just harassment. It's
Harassment
not
of all
even
types.
sexual.
Nah, like
Why did
her
she
and
do
her friend
that?
were well, actually her friend took my water bottle, took some of my water and spat on her, and then she tried to spit on her friend and
Yeah.
ended up spitting on me. But that
Strange
I think
behaviour.
those types of stories. But outside of the Uber realm, my life is very, very monotonous. let's say, yeah.
Mostly
Hidden
video
editing.
editing.
Yeah.
Well-
Another natural role. It's an interesting role that you're in the sense that the amount of Uber driving you have to do to get a good YouTube video means that you're almost a full-time Uber driver, but then you also do the YouTube on top of it. So it's a lot of work to get an average video
Yeah,
out.
that is.
Say if YouTube didn't take off, would you be still Ubering?
No, the
No, I say you only
now,
do it for the
yeah,
YouTube.
for sure now. I mean, initially it was like for the cash flow. I was in between jobs. Made sense. And then
Right. But because things start to take off online, you're like,
for
this
sure,
is-
yeah. Like I was trying a whole bunch of stuff. I used to go to like garage sales and like buy stuff for $1, sell it for 30 online. Like whatever the Gary V.
Trying to do the
Actually,
Gary
Gary
V.
V. That honestly, like I hate because he's a very polarizing guy. So I hate like hyping him up too much around this stuff. But there's
I think he's amazing.
a lot of the successes I've had along the way have been attributed to his practical advice. He
Oh yeah, he's such a good, like, he seems to be one of the few like life coach type people that will actually give you shit that just works without going, okay, now buy
and that's
my
because he
course.
gives it all for free. All of his content is free, and all of his like very very like people. You get those questions. Oh, I want to start a YouTube channel. Like, how do I do this? I literally link them to like there's a deck that he has. It says this is how you have like your pillar content, and then you share it across all your socials. Like you follow that.
Yeah, I've seen it. I looked at that as well, and that like completely changed how I did YouTube and my business, where you have your big pillar content, and then you work out how to make that big thing
100%. Yeah, you could do that for
genius.
5 years. You'd be sweet. It's good stuff.
I feel like I need to listen to Gary Vee more. I've only ever like listened to some stuff that people have linked to me. I know
You would
who
probably
he is.
already
just
do
like,
a lot of what, and like you would already do a lot of what he suggests because you've been in the game for a while. Like you kind of get how it all works.
I mean, maybe I just model like what I do of what everyone else does. I guess.
Well,
I just
yeah,
see
I
what
think
works.
that's what
It's like
everybody does,
everyone.
yeah.
You just see what's working and you try and do your version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Radio Mike, friend of the show, just said, "Hey Darren, how
actually-
are you? How are you?" Okay,
I-
great.
It's not good that he has a direct line to the show and he doesn't use that like ability for anything
is
good.
his
It's
first
like, I'll
name
ask him
Radio
how
and
he
his
is.
last name Mike? I'd like to clarify that because I've seen his name pop up at times. Really?
It's one name. It's more of
Yeah,
a
he's
title.
like Seal. You know,
yeah.
That's very indie.
he's kind of like Pink. It's just like more of a
That's it.
stage name.
Yeah.
And who knows what his
Monica.
real name
I'd love
is?
to meet his parents.
His real
I'd love
name
to
is
meet his
probably
parents.
like Chad
that.
or
You got
something
that
like
to be a
that.
special
We don't even
breed
know.
to give him one long name, Radio Mike.
Well, one of them's an antenna, the other one's a dial.
And these dude, our fans suck.
No, I think you need to stop looking at it because you're just getting angry.
I am. Is he allowed near schools of Suni's mustache?
You
Nice.
sound like the one
Yeah, very
from
good.
with a
Hilarious.
mustache. Seedy as fuck. It's seedy. So
Well, it was like
seedy.
the first one on Google. Google Darren Levy. There is no non-seedy pictures of him. I literally said to Ruben before this podcast, man, I can't find one that's not seedy.
Yeah, you're like a normal guy in real life, but on
that's-
Google
I'm gonna
Images,
do
you're like
something
a
about
sex
that. I don't
predator.
know what, but
It's weird.
It's fucked up.
Man, it's better than my Google Images. You type my name into Google Images, and all of the
Is this
photos of me
the
on fetish
white
websites
guy-
come up.
what is
It's
it, the-
gross.
How did that start?
Yeah, the tall
guys.
guys free. There's a website. I don't know. So I a fan told me about it because they found it just Googling me, I suppose, and then they went to the images and they found this photo that was watermarked with the website, and then they went on the website and there's this whole site that's just dedicated to tall men. and they have different categories like big black guys or big white guys. They got big fat guys. I'm the face of the lanky category. And
you mad
apparently
about
that's something that a lot of other men are into.
I think yeah.
I think he low-key loves it. He's into it.
Look, it's you know what it's like? It's how I imagine a girl must feel when a very unattractive man hits on them. It's like, oh, that's nice, but I still want nothing to do with it beyond the compliment, you know? It's like, yeah, it's cool being the face, like I'm a sex symbol, I suppose, but the people... Well, I'm a sex symbol for those men. What I was saying was I'm a sex symbol for people I want nothing to do with.
Yeah. I think you said it before. There's no such thing as bad press.
No, there isn't. And it's, it's turned into something funny that my fans like. Like whenever I post anything remotely shirtless, all of the comments just tag the Instagram page. It's got 50,000 followers. There are a lot of dudes.
And because it has that following, their SEO rankings would be fantastic. So people search Lewis Spears, it's really up there, right?
I know. It is.
That's
I
so
think it's like
funny.
the third or fourth
That's
Google
great.
image is just me with my shirt off and the tall guys free thing. And you go on my page, there's like 12 photos, me next to short girls, and it's they've really done their research. There's some photos on that website that I look at. I'm like, I don't even remember taking that. How do they find it?
You should take a picture.
It's very meme worthy. I mean, like Luke, you've known Lewis for a long time, and I know there are people like in the social media or just like media world who would put something like this out there intentionally for the publicity. Luke, is this something Lewis would do?
I love the accusation here, and I've never thought about it like that. And you know what, Darren? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would want to defend myself, but that sounds like a great idea. Guys, I am the owner of Tall Guys Free.
I'd be checking his domain names for sure. He pays $30 a year to fucking own this website. He pays someone else
he's
to
getting by during
outsources
COVID. He's not able to do stand-up gigs, but he's making heaps of money off this website. Respect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I've all of my ads. They're affiliate links to the Big and Tall Guy store.
Yeah, your Wish ads are just stretched versions of all the shit I see.
Yeah, just long items.
Now, Darren, before we wrap this up, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic and stuff. If you can't go back to regular Uber driving, what can people expect? What's the content?
A chunk of people that seem to like the Omegle videos, and that's doable. So that'll continue. I want to keep trying new stuff though. So I'm not really sure. A lot of the stuff I end up doing is often suggested by people. Like I'll see something in the comments and then I'll give it a go. So if anybody watching this has an idea of something cool that they'd like to see, please let me know. But
now is the time to be messaging the people you like video
For
ideas
sure.
because a lot of people are just stuck in their house and doing nothing. You often get inspiration by doing things. So
it's so
a lot
true.
of us are like,
it's so
what
true.
the
I got to
fuck
put
am I
up
going to do
a
next?
video on Friday, and I don't really have enough Omegle content. So I'm I don't know what I'm gonna. I'm trying to figure it out as we go.
So, but when it all comes back, what's the goal?
So
do you have a goal
before
in mind that
COVID,
you're moving towards?
I took a holiday. I went to Thailand for a bit, and then I came back and I was prepping to do a bit of an Australia tour, and I was like, it'd be so cool to Uber in different cities in Australia, and
cool.
show off the nuances of Perth, Melbourne, Cairns, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that will happen eventually.
That is cool.
For sure.
Man, you could do such a cool vlog.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's
and so
part
there'd
vlog,
be
part funny Uber rides.
the Friday funny Uber rides, and then extra content around stuff in the cities. I was really, really gearing up for that kind of a thing. So it'll happen, but I don't know when.
You know what I thought was a cool idea? Sometimes I have ideas. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I would never do that. Of seeing, I don't know if it's possible with the Uber app as a driver, but like seeing how far you can travel by giving other people rides. Or does it keep you in your area? Like if you were to drive, I don't know, 20 kilometers that way to drop someone off, could you take a ride that goes 20 kilometers in the same direction and see how far you can get?
Like twice a day or something, and then you get trips on the way to the pin. So you could...
So that's how it works. Like if you like you live where I live, but then you find yourself like way out the other side of Melbourne and you want to get home, you can drop. Yeah, Joseph Green was doing Ubering for a bit. A comedian friend of mine. He just dropped the pin on his house, and then over the next 2 hours, he'd the trips would just meander his way back.
It was good. It worked when
came from.
I think like maybe like a year and a half-ish ago when there weren't as many drivers on the platform. But now it's like, unless you're in the hot spots, you don't necessarily get a trip kind of thing. But yeah. I'd love to do like one of those.
Yeah, right.
It was a good suggestion.
Never mind it.
No, I'd love to do one of those. I don't know if you saw like Mr. Beast did like the longest Uber trip ever. And I don't think it wasn't actually on the app. He started it as an Uber ride, and then I think because the driver was like, what was it? The driver was like, well, Uber's going to take 25% of this. So,
well, I actually have an idea for us to do, which I didn't know whether to bring up because it's such a good idea that I don't want to like promise this, but we're talking about it now. I had an idea that one day Lewis and I were talking about, and then I actually thought months ago we should get Darren to do this with us. We had an idea where not many people know, but across the Nullarbor, which is, if you're not from Australia, is from like the east coast to the west coast. So it's like all the way across the country horizontally, right? There's a freeway that runs across there. Across the Nullarbor to Perth, there is a golf course. So every like
Really?
100 kilometers or 200 kilometers, there's a hole.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, our original idea was Lewis and I wanted to do it in a golf cart. We realized this would take us weeks and also would be very dangerous because we'd be like going 15 kilometers an hour on a golf cart and there'd be cattle trucks flying past us at 150 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
But
we would die.
I'm
it
there.
would be great
I am
to have
so
a
there.
caddy.
That is a great. So like when the start of this Australia tour that I was plotting out was the most practical thing would be to go up like the East Coast, but I'm like, nah, I wouldn't do that because that's just too obvious. I would go across the Nullarbor to start. So that's
Yeah, because we did... Because we did the East Coast we drove from Melbourne to Cairns in February for our regional tour.
right.
And that was, again, because there's the most places you can do shows on. But if we're just going purely for golf-related
That is awesome.
purposes,
I'm
the Nullarbor
so
seems
in.
like
I
a great
love that
place to
idea.
start.
I think so.
Because think
yeah.
about how fucking funny it would be, right? This is the image I had in my mind. We've driven for an entire day to get to the next hole, right? And then you just fuck the drive. Like, you've had all day thinking about how you're going to hit the ball. You got one shot at it, then you just spray it left, and you get like a triple bogey. And then you got a whole day
That's
to
so
think
good. I
about
don't
your
know about the
performance
golf course.
until the
That's
next
gold.
hole.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very well maintained. I think it's like a green. I've seen pictures of it online. You can look it up.
Gold.
It's like a tee off and then a
That's
green.
so cool.
Like there's desert
Yeah, no,
in the
I'm in
middle. There's no
100%.
fairway. It's in the middle of the desert. It's to encourage
yeah.
people to stop driving, I think, on the way.
All right,
but yeah,
let's do
I think
it.
we should absolutely, once COVID ends, we should try and plan this trip to Perth, and then we'll we'll figure it out. Then Lewis and I will have to fly back, and you'll just like keep driving
that's
around.
one of the
in
things.
Perth.
But apparently, people die on the Nullarbor. Like it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Road what?
Shane Crawford rode across it.
Well, because
What do you mean they die on the
there
Nullarbor?
are, what is it? So there's such long periods with absolutely nothing, like their cars break down, and then there's also a lot of robberies, and
If you broke down,
just dodgy shit that happens along the way. So you need to have like a reliable little car. But yeah, it's dangerous.
Reliable car, and if you
No, I'm not
we'll
backing
have
out,
weapons,
but
golf
hell
clubs,
no.
you know.
yeah. No.
That's what
I was
I'm
going to
trying
say,
to do.
you've
I'm
only
trying to-
made it seem like the vlog's going to be more interesting now. Getting robbed at hole 5, you know?
We could start it with crime and death stats.
What a
on
vlog that
Nullarbor.
would be, getting
Stage
robbed on
it.
the 8th
We
green
could
or
stage
something.
it. We could
That would be awesome.
pay
The thumbnail is us
local.
getting held up and I've got our
It
golf
is.
clubs in
We
the...
could pay a local.
I mean, that's better than a car crash.
That's all.
That's so good. Yes. Thank you very much for coming
make
on,
these videos every
Darren.
week
What have you got
on
to plug?
Darren Levy Official on YouTube. Come have a look. See if you like it. Thank you for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun.
It's very funny.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Oh, mate,
No
thanks for
worries.
coming on. Absolute pleasure. And thanks for telling us that story about the guy using his cock as a
hope you-
joystick. It was a real gift for our podcast. An exclusive.
Very good. Man, as soon as COVID's over, I know what I'm doing in the Uber.
Oh, I'm just traveling. Just kidding. Woo!
There you go.
All right. See you later, Darren.
Thank you, mate. We'll talk to you guys in a few days. Thanks for listening.